Hi, welcome to the archives. It is January 27th today. I woke up with a burst. Do you see it? Woo, 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 woo. We got stuff going on. Um, I thought it was pink eye at first. I went to the pharmacy. They said it's not. I just burst a blood vessel in my eye. So I thought I would get on here today and do another one. We're gonna get to game changers. Do you remember stories of hijabi athletes? Today I'm going to upload some of the ones I've done before. I think I've already recorded two that I haven't posted yet. So I'm going to record a couple more and we're going to get back to Goddess. As we enter Black History Month, within the next couple months, I have coming up, I have a book on Africville. So we're going to talk a little bit about Black Canadians because I don't hear a lot of, well, anyways, there are a few accounts I follow on Instagram right now who are doing some really great work around sharing issues around what the black experience is in Canada for a lot of people. I think sometimes in Canada we forget that, at least from growing up, I always assumed that other black people were all just immigrants, right? They were either Jamaicans or Grenadians or Ghanaians or Nigerians or Kenyans or South Africans. But we have to remember that there are people who came to um, Canada in the 16th century, right? The 17th century. They've been here since 1767, 1713, 16, what was the other date? 1812. Like they've been here for a really, really long time. Some were brought in as enslaved Africans. And so we're going to get into, I got this book out. I think it's one of the Lorimer books, James Lorimer books. So we're going to get into Africville this Black History Month, we're also going to learn about in Jinga. I'm going to start sharing some of this. There's a whole lot that I'm trying to read. I also got Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God. So I'm reading that right now as well too. I'll share that book recommendation in February. February we'll try to get into Sojourner Truth. So we have a lot coming up for Black History Month here. Um, Including some from Game Changers. So I recorded Keandra, the last one. I'll upload that as we get into Black History Month. Right now, we're going to focus on Kulsoom, Kulsoom Abdullah. This is a picture for Kulsoom Abdullah. Okay, so Kulsoom was born in Pakistan. So Pakistan's capital is Islamabad. Pakistan. She represented Pakistan, but she lives in the United States. The United States, their capital is Washington, D.C. And Kulsoom's sport is weightlifting. And so Kulsoom Abdullah, she never really planned on entering a single weightlifting competition. Um, she never really intended to break down any sort of barriers for Muslim women. She just basically grew up in the 80s, and the only sports she saw other women playing were on TV were like track and fields, figure skating, gymnastics. But in her small town in the United States, they had limited sports facilities, and so her parents were kind of reluctant to leave her in the care of male instructors, right? Even with some of the gymnastics cases, we've seen what parents who trusted their daughters to coaches, their sons to coaches, and then how it ended up in different molestation, child abuse, child sexual abuse, verbal abuse, right? So her parents were like, we don't really want to leave you in the care of male instructors. And so she didn't participate in any sports outside of gym class, right? We saw, I think it was Fitria, was it? uh, Gym class was really important for her as well too, right? She could express herself, she could play, she could be free, and so that's what Kulsoom did. She played gym, and then when she graduated school, she decided to try taekwondo, right? And so she wanted to gain strength for taekwondo, so she started lifting weights. So she couldn't have known how important it was going to be to her life trajectory. So as she was lifting weights in preparation and practice for taekwondo, her coaches encouraged her to enter a few local weightlifting competitions. So she did. She enjoyed them. She kept on competing. One day, she was discovered that there was a competition for the national level. And up until then, she'd been competing in the same clothes she trained in, which is like long sleeve shirts, exercise pants, and her hijab. So here's a picture, right? So she was used to already competing in her long sleeve, her hijab, and her pants. But for the national competitions, you could only wear a singlet, right? The singlet is kind of like the tank tops, but it's like a full piece, like a leotard almost, but not really. So that's what people wear when they're training for the national competitions. They wear a singlet. And she was like, I can't wear that, right? It's not modest enough. And the singlet is used because it helps the judges to be able to see. It has something to do with the competition itself. The judges want to make sure they can see your knees and your elbows, whether they're locked out and fully extended or not. So she couldn't wear the singlet, right? She observes hijab rules. She was the first hijabi weightlifter to reach this level of competition. And so no one had asked her for her religious accommodations to wear long sleeves and pants. So basically, her coaches requested an accommodation from USA Weightlifting. It was denied. Okay, the Council on American Islamic Relations, they put out a press release and they got a lot of attention. She was able to have a meeting with the International Weightlifting Federation, the IWF, and she gave a presentation, right? She kind of explained, I'm Muslim, I observe the hijab. You can still judge my competitions. You can still look at my knees and my elbows and everything. And so basically, she had a successful presentation, and the IW decided that it can change its rules to allow Muslim women to compete while they were covered. So she paved the way, right, for Muslim hijabi weightlifters. Kulsoom Abdullah was really important in kind of opening the doors for those who compete at a national level. And so the rule change, it was passed. It meant that Muslim women around the world could wear the hijab while they were weightlifting. So several countries in the Middle East now have female wrestlers competing at the national level because of this rule change. So really important. Sarah Ahmed is a weightlifter from Egypt, who made it to the 2016 Summer Olympics, where she made history as the first Egyptian athlete to win an Olympic medal. So after the change, Kulsoom found out that Pakistan had a weightlifting federation and that only men competed. But because she had a national identity card for Pakistan, she was able to get a passport. So Kulsoom offered to compete for, for her parents' homeland, which she had visited throughout her life. So she represented Pakistan at the Asian Weightlifting Championships as well as the World Weightlifting Championships. So this has encouraged other Pakistani women to join the sport, and Pakistan now has a full women's team, and they compete in both weightlifting and powerlifting, and that's all to Kulsoom's efforts and examples. So again, you can knock feminism and all of these things as much as you want and say that it hasn't um, brought anything but 50-50, right? And made us learn now how to cook and stuff. But this is also what gender equity looks like, right? Is I want to be able to compete in national weightlifting, and I want to be able to cover up dress modestly and wear and observe the hijab. Oh, you want to, right? Let me go have a meeting. Let me break the barriers. Let me get people to understand my religion, so there can be some inclusion. Okay, so this is Kulsoom Abdullah, an American Pakistani weightlifter. Okay, so until next time, in solidarity.